Welcome back to Shooting It with Sos. I'm here today with another knife review. As you can see, and as you've noticed probably by the title, I'm going to review or talk about some of my Bali-songs today, some of my butterfly knives, my trainers and the blades. So I have a mix here of both. Now a little history. I've only been into Balis for maybe about a year, or not even. I have always been into knives. I've always enjoyed blades, all kinds of knives, but Balis I only recently got into. But I was able to pick up a small collection, and I have some others on my list that I'd like to get a hold of at some point, but right now this is where I'm at. So let me kind of go through with you what I've gotten. I guess for the sake of maybe a newcomer, because this really is just going to be an entry level, because I'm a beginner with these, so it's an entry level kind of introduction to Balis. Over here, these four are trainers, and you'll see what that is in a second. They don't have a real blade, and then I have two here that have real live blades, and I'll show you those two. Some of you may already know what they are, but we're going to go through them one at a time. Let's start over here with a trainer. Now, trainers are blades that, or knives that do not have an actual live blade. So as you can see, this is not a real blade. This is just something that you can practice flipping. And so this particular knife is an Amazon special, I guess you could say. They were, I believe it was $22 or $25, right in that range. And this did originally have a pocket or a clip here, which is a lock to kind of shut this, but I took it off, and I took that off actually on this one and this one. I took the little locks off. I don't prefer them when I'm practicing or flipping. When I carry a live knife, you'll notice these do have the locks, and I like to carry a knife with a lock on it. But these trainers, I don't. I like to just be able to get right at them, start flipping. Okay, so this is made by Andu. I think it's called Andu, and these guys, this is, like I said, it's an inexpensive trainer. I watched a guy do a review on it, and I decided, I'm gonna pick one of these up, put it in my collection. I didn't have an orange knife or an orange trainer or Bali in my collection, so I decided to pick this up. It does have bearing pivots here, which are incredibly smooth. These things, let me see if I can get this for the camera, but they really just drop free. They just dangle. So that's what I really like about this particular knife, is just how quick this thing is to spin and play with. Now, a downside is its weight is really poor. I think its weight distribution is really bad. The blade is not very heavy, and also the end, there really are no, as you can see, there's really no weights here in the end to give this any sort of handle weight to help you use momentum to spin this around, or do, I forget the name, but YSL rolls, or what do they call them? I can't remember the names, the technical names. Again, like I said, I'm a beginner to Balis, but they do have these little plastic spacers. They really have absolutely no weight in them, so they really don't provide much weight. They're more than anything just a spacer. So that's all they are. Now, this is a sandwich design. As you can see, it's got steel liners. These are G10 handles, and they, like I said, bearing pivots. But super, super smooth, and it's actually been fun to play with. I've had good luck with this, actually, since I've had it. Being an inexpensive trainer, it actually works better than I thought, but it doesn't flip super great just because of the weight, but you can get used to that, and when you play with it, you'll get used to it and be able to start flipping pretty well with it. My next one here I want to show you is the Boker. This was about $36 on Blade HQ if you get it in the blue. If you get it in the red, it's kind of funny. Their red one is the exact same knife, is $56. It's nuts. But their blue, like I said, 36 or something like that. I took the pocket clip off. This one did have a pocket clip, so you can see I took that off, and I took off the latch here. But this knife is actually super, super great. I mean, it's short, overall short, but the weight in the handles is incredible. It flips really nicely. It's very heavy, so it feels substantial in your hand. The blade is heavy, and all along the edges is just very nicely chamfered. It's just super machined very well. So there's no sharp or rough edges. It just feels really good. I've never been pinched with this particular knife, but very, very cool. And it has a nice sound. Now, I mean, it has just a standard pivot with, they're kind of like nylon washers, I think, what I noticed when I took this apart. I would I feel like I would rather have maybe brass washers in there, or something of that nature, but it does have the nylon, and it actually is pretty smooth. I mean, you can kind of see, I mean, well, let me flip this around this way so you can kind of see it. It does swing pretty well, but I have done a little work on it. Put a little oil in there, and I cleaned it real nicely after I bought it. But it does have a lot of handle play. Maybe you can see that. See that handle play? There's quite a bit of handle play, but it functions really well. Actually, let me put it in the open position here. I didn't show you the play on this one. Let me show you the play here. This one's actually not bad. Really not bad at all. Tap. No tap. Let's see. No tap on this one. Now this one I believe does have quite a bit of tap. Let's hear it. Let's see. Yeah, you hear that? Quite a bit. Yeah. Tap, tap, tap. So this guy, the Boker taps. However, if I were to pick between these two as my first Bali, I would definitely pick the Boker. I'd go spend 36 bucks on this one instead of 26 on this one. This one, learning and training is going to be a lot better. It's weighted better, its balance is much better, and it's a lot more quality design knife. So big fan of the Boker. Then I actually picked up the Squiddy. Many of you know the Squiddy is a very popular design. Squid Industry Squiddy. This is actually a very flippable Bali for me. Great trainer. It does have little weights in the end, which helps the handles have great balance. I've actually done a lot of practice with this, and I have absolutely loved it. I learned a lot of tricks with this, and again, I'm a big time beginner when it comes to these things, but like doing like rollovers and things of that nature, I learned with this one better than any of the others because its weight and balance is so nice. But this little guy is pretty sweet. If you get a chance to pick up a Squiddy, like, go ahead and pick it up. Like, you're not going to be mad you did. These are about 50 bucks, but you're going to be happy that you got this, especially if you're new into Balis. This is something that you could take with you to the store. You can take it, put it in your pocket, practice with it. This is non-threatening. It's kind of looks like a little squid. Very fun to use and play with and to learn. So if you can, pick one of these up. You can find them in a lot of places, but Blade HQ occasionally will have them. Otherwise, you can look on Squid Industries website and pick one up whenever they have them in stock. But these sell out all the time. And you can tell this one is a much longer total knife, and the handles, you see the difference in handles. This is probably another ½ inch longer on the handles, so it's definitely a longer knife. Now this one, it's custom. I customized this one. This is a BBBarfly. This is their Pro version 2. Maybe you can see that there. This is the Pro V2. I had to order this. I think I ended up ordering this from Etsey or something like that. This is a Canadian knife. They come out of Canada, but they do such a great job. I had to get it, especially for the price. I think the Pro V2, this is serial number 047 here, but for the price, I think I paid 79 bucks, and you get to customize your handles, and it's a bottle opener, right? So you can see, it's got a little bottle opener here as well. This is an incredible Bali. I mean, I was shocked when I first got my hands on it. I watched a handful of reviews. They got pretty raving reviews for the price and for what they are. But man, the balance is incredible. Just super great to play and to swing. dropped it. But 1 second, let me grab that. But super great knife. I mean, you can't go wrong with this. This is a sweet, sweet trainer, as well as a bottle opener. And if you get a chance to get one of these in your collection, get the Pro V2, or the Pro, what is it called? Yeah, the Pro V2. This is really where it's at. They do have a Pro model, which has a kind of a closed bottle opener here, and then they have their base model. And of course, their base model is their cheapest one. But for the price, I mean, you get the hinges have bushings in them on both sides, and they actually send you spare hardware and bushings. It has great weights in it. Maybe you can see that, you know, they have this nice, I don't know if they're anodized, but they're kind of a gold color spacer in there, but they're weighted as well. Balanced really nicely. And these are aluminum handles, and they just paint, you know, the colors on there. But you can pick whatever colors you want. You can go on the website and just customize it yourself. And they were really good about it. I mean, I think originally I had, let's see, I think I had a different color picked, but they sent me an email asking me which colors I wanted, because one of the colors I either didn't have in stock or something. I don't know what it was, but I ended up going with purple and pink here. Just a very non-threatening color. If you ever had to pull this out and open a bottle in a bar or something, if you wanted to take this with you. But it's certainly non-threatening. But it's super cool and very good flipper. I mean, this thing is a great flipper. Super balanced. It does have a taper, as you can kind of see. I mean, that was kind of, it took me a little bit of learning to figure out how to flip with this taper, considering how these are square. These are more rounded and got some edges on it, but they're thinner. This is super thin, but they've got sharp edges. When this one is rounded edges, but also tapers to these big honking ends down here. But it's weighted super nicely. Probably gains the most momentum and the best momentum than any of my knives, so that you can do all kinds of tricks and twirls and whatnot. So, and again, I'm a beginner with flipping, but I can do a few things. Maybe I'll make a video about that at some point, not in this video. So there's my trainers. So I spent a lot of time training before I ever bought a live blade. So I spent a lot of time with all of these practicing. And then with these still, I only feel like I'm good enough to do basic openings, nothing crazy. I'm not doing crazy tricks yet with a live blade. I don't want to cut my hand. But as you can see, it's got a spring tensioned latch here. Actually, there is no spring, sorry, it's just clipped right in there, latch. But this is a Bradley, so you can kind of see right there, Bradley cutlery. This is made in the USA, and it's 154 cm steel. So I picked this up because I'm a really big fan of the steel, and I particularly really liked the color of this knife. So I liked the color, I liked the blade design. I thought it was super fancy, kind of like a cool, easy, like if you're going to open this up in front of someone, the blade's not super long, not super scary. It's kind of got a nice leaf blade, and it's a pretty neat knife. I mean, for the size and everything, it fits well in your pocket. G10 handle scales, sandwich design. That's something I was going to talk about. All of these are pretty much sandwich designs, except for this one's a channel. You can see this is PVC, and it's just a solid channel design. When these others are all sandwich design. So that just means, you know, that, you know, you have scales on either side, and you have liners on either side, and you put them together. So with this knife, I will always keep this latch, because it's not going to be really a flipper for me. It's going to be a knife. I'm going to use this as a knife. So I'll keep the latch on there, because that's how I like to carry, if I can. Or if I do carry it, I don't want to carry it with this on there. You can see that it does have ting pins, which I haven't actually found to be a problem. They are not super, let's see, were these the ones that weren't super? Actually, you know what, these are actually pretty well balanced. You can see maybe this pin is a little off center. It's a little shorter on this side and longer on the other side, but it really doesn't make a difference from for how I use this. This is just a pocket knife for me. Like I say, I don't really flip this a ton. I do basic open flips with it, and then I use it. So, but very cool blade design. And like I said, this has a 154 cm steel. So great blade profile, great blade design, great EDC Bali. If you're gonna have a Bali for 90 bucks, this is a great, they're on sale pretty much everywhere. Great Bali for the price. Let's see what else. Now, is there anything else I was going to mention about those? No, I think that'll be okay. We'll jump into this last one. This is my most recent purchase. This one is the Kershaw Lucha, made in the USA. This is Kershaw's first Bali that they actually branded with their own name on it. And this is also a sandwich design. These are just solid pieces of steel or aluminum possibly. Yeah, but they are just sandwiched together. It does have nice weights in the end. You can see these black weights. There's 2 of them on each side. And of course it has its latch, which is a free flying latch. This one's a much longer blade hand, or longer handle. It kind of matches up with the Squid. It might even be a little longer than the Squid. Just barely longer than the Squid. You see that? So a little bit longer. But I got this knife because I thought it was super smooth, super cool. The hinges are bearing pivots. This one, by the way, these have phosphorus bronze washers. So that's what I liked about this one. This is bronze washers, 154 cm. This one's got your bushings. This one has bronze washers. These are, you know, like nylon, and then these are bearings. But these are the seat, what do they call them? The captured bearings. I forget the name of them. But again, very, very smooth. I mean, these things are super, super smooth. Now this guy is a huge mamma jamma. This is a big, big blade. This is a super cool blade profile. When I saw this and handled this the first time, I just felt like I had to have one. I mean, it just felt so good in the hand. These scales feel really nice. The blade looks super cool. So if I haven't carried this yet because I felt like this is a little bit intimidating for me to pull this thing out if I ever had to use this or open a box or letter or anything. But man, is that cool, right? Big, big blade. Again, right here, made in the USA. Now this steel though is this one's not a super fancy one. It's actually not printed on the blade, but I remember looking it up and it wasn't anything super fancy. Like it wasn't even as good as that Bradley there, 154. But nevertheless, this was about 120. It's still going to be a pretty good steel for how you're going to use this knife. This isn't really going to be a super hard user. This is going to be or at least for me, it's going to be used to do the occasional box and letter opening, and then also just to look super cool, because this is a cool blade. As you can see, it's just massive. Let's see how it compares to the Squid, since this is my next largest. You can see it's still a little larger than the Squid, right? So, and compared to the Bradley, I mean, it just dwarfs the Bradley. Makes it look really small. So, but Kershaw Lucha. Look at the see-through scales all the way through. You see that? It's nice and light, but also very solid, especially if you lock this up. Put that in there. This is a very solid feel. I mean, it is solid. Super, super cool. You guys got to pick one of these up if you can. I typically feel like this might be, I don't know, something that I'd use for probably more just around the house, and then just show to friends, just because it's, you know, one of these days I'm going to get good at flipping. I'm going to practice my tail off, and then I'm going to get good enough to where I can actually take this out and feel confident flipping this in public and not dropping it or hurting myself. So, but again, super, super sweet knife. But yes, this is my current Bali collection. I think that all of these, for me at least, have been a great start to learn, and then a great start for inexpensive, entry level, if you will, actual live blades. I mean, you can get into the BRS, the Alpha Beast, and which is kind of like the top of the line, you know, $400+ with titanium scale or handles and everything, bushing, pivots, everything's top quality on those BRS Balis. But you know, maybe one day. That might be something I'll get into one day. I feel like I got to get better first so I don't cut myself. And once I can feel confident carrying these, maybe one of these days I'll get into it. 1 or 2 really nice high end. That's usually what I do. I'm a budget knife kind of guy. I'm more practical, EDC style use of all knives. And then I like to have 1 or 2 really nice in each category. So, but yeah, that is my Bali collection at this point. And maybe one of these days I'll make a video of me flipping and see how I do. But if you have any questions, please leave them down below in the comments, and like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.